ban here. Once again, we are on 7.5.
Jin will probably try to target away Crown heavily in this game, but I mean, it's almost futile. His champion pool is too big, and the only thing that you can really do is try to target champion picks that would fit into certain team compositions. Like if they have a lot of engage, they have Rengar and Maokai, yeah, you can target Orianna. But the problem is that much like Faker, it's almost pointless. You're not really going to get an edge up in the lane over him. And due to Haru being so prevalent in the jungle, can't really hope to gain too much of an edge or an advantage there, but
maybe trying to ban out Haru or something like that. We haven't seen him on much outside of Graves, Rengar. I think maybe a little bit of Kha'Zix as well.
Well, so far the picks bans are definitely strange for LCK. Blue side Camille ban, Zyra being banned away as well by Generic Green Wings, and on the flip side, Vladimir and Nautilus.
Ooh. I'm going to leave Graves up and ban Talia. So
now, it does mean that, yeah, Generic Green Wings is going to pick. MT just looks completely destroyed. He is so depressed.
It's a sad Lee Sin.
Someone just told him that they've seen better Lee Sins in NA. And he's like, I can't even argue with that. I just have to stare blankly at the screen and acknowledge it.
Just gotta accept the beating. We're not gonna get to see what Haru is playing against this Graves just yet, as we have Ezreal and Karma being picked by Samsung. They're saying, okay, we can play it better than you can. This time Ashe being picked up potentially for the Generic Green Wings. No Jin. Will we see that locked in? Oh, okay. Jin gonna be playing Lucian in their game too. I like it.
Lucian's coming out, and we'll see what the build of choice is actually gonna be. There's been a few going on in solo queue. And obviously the Blade of the Ruin King change does help him. We'll see if it's gonna be the Black Cleaver Blade of the Ruin King, or if there's gonna be the Triforce variation, which is a very old variant for Lucian, and he will be accompanied with Lulu. So with that Light Slinger and Lulu, they can definitely look to try to put a lot of pressure on down and bottom, and Generic Green Wings again. I mean, right off the get-go, very aggressive team competition, potentially, and Samsung Galaxy, yet again, choosing a more defensive route with their pick ban. And it certainly is going to be a little bit more versatile. Now going into the second ban phase, Samsung actually the ones to ban away the Shen despite having the Rengar. It's not a must-do, just simply because you have Rengar that you should try to look to get Shen, but you would think that Shen would be very good against everything that Generic Green Wings has right now. Multiple champions with auto attack reliance, even the Lulu as well.
And Lissandra, they're like, I know you want to go with one new pick today, but we're not going to let Kuzan have his Lissandra either, so I'm going to take that away.
And we'll see what the final ban is here for Generic Green Wings. They might ban like Maokai here because Nautilus and Shen are taken off the table. It could signify that Samsung just wants to get that Maokai again for Cuvée. And it does seem like that is going to be the case. And there's that Orianna that I was talking about earlier. This is why it's a little bit pointless to try to even target Crown. You're never going to come up with a victory.
Yeah. They're just, I suppose, most scared of his Rise. And so they're like, okay, no Rise, but everything else, it's okay. We'll deal with it.
I mean, the other thing here is this is a spot where he could even victor.
Yeah. Very curious to see what they're going to be running in top lane, saving that matchup so they can counterpick. Samsung does. No Jace. Gonna be Gragas.
See if we get any more creative picks out of Jin Air. Maybe they're just getting desperate at this point and they're going to go with stuff that no one's expecting, and that would certainly be one of the champions no one's expecting.
Kuzan kind of laughing. He's like, ah, well, nah. not Azir. Victor, though.
Highlighting Victor. Will he lock it in? He will. He's gonna try to beat Crown with his own champion.
See how well that goes. Crown must know the ins and out of every single tiny piece of Victor at this point. So, as you mentioned, I think that's a really good point. Like, do you really want to play Victor against Crown?
Well,
I don't think so.
There's very few players in the world that, when you think of them, you associate it with a champion. But he is certainly one of them on Victor.
Poppy makes a return with both Maokai, well, with all of these top lane champions, Shen, Nautilus, Maokai. You're looking for a tanky top. I guess Poppy is one of the only ones left. I guess Gragas was still left over, but deciding on the Poppy instead.
See what it does for Samsung Galaxy. They have a very mid and late game oriented team composition. Jin Green Wings with a lot of aggression in multiple lanes, and MT gonna be able to find a lot of pressure in his own red side jungle on the blue side Graves down in bottom. And as long as he can keep a leash on that Rengar, he can probably create a lot of advantages or pressure relief for his team, and they can try to do something with that. But Jinair, it's going to be a battle of, yet again, early and mid scaling versus mid and late.
Yeah.
Samsung with the mid-late, as per usual. So one last look at the team compositions. Gragas, Graves, Victor, Lucian, and Lulu.
Yeah, I did misspeak, by the way. Gragas was picked already, so they did not have an option between Poppy and Gragas. They go for the Poppy. It's one of the only tank tops left over. Taking a look at Samsung's lineup, Poppy, Rengar, Orianna, Ezreal, and Karma. To round out that one, we'll take one last look at the skins and the compositions. And we're going to go right into game number 2, guys. So hold on to your seats. Here comes another action-packed Samsung versus Jinair game right now. So, as we mentioned on Sunday, the Kongdu Monster is actually a fan of Samsung as well.
Yeah, he's here. He actually switched sides. He started off sitting in the Jinair Green Wings booth, but then he saw Umti's Lee Sin, so he quickly moved over to the other side of the studio to sit with the rest of the Samsung fans. Definitely wanted to join their galaxy. Did not want to board the Jinair flight.
Haru forced to flash the wall. That's kind of annoying.
It does happen super early on, though, but yeah, it is definitely going to impact any sort of aggressive plays that he would like to make early on, but he will have that up again regardless by the time he has his ultimate.
Cuvée warding the brush. Spots Ixu. Looks like they were thinking about making a move towards the Raptors, but will not be the case. Buzan actually eating a small chunk of damage here from Karma. Will be forced to go into lane. Down a little bit of health. MT just over here doing his own Raptors, whereas Haru got some help from Cuvée up on top.
And MT might actually just go immediately into blue. Doesn't necessarily hurt Rengar as much as some other junglers like Elise or Kha'Zix. And he does not do that. He actually just transitions into the red. And again, when you're looking at these lane matchups, MT primarily would want to hang around mid, make sure that Kuzan is escorted into that Hex Core at a reasonable timing, and then you have a lot of potential aggression down in bottom lane. This is not lane matchups where Graves has the luxury of just going for a full clear and, you know, telling the enemy jungler that the onus is on him to do something. Haru might actually be able to steal this lead away here.
It's going to be close. He doesn't have a smite. Whereas Umti does. It's close, though.
He's going to get this. Yeah. Haru falls really far behind.
Very unfortunate. He goes right for the Scuttle Crab that's right here. And MT's right here as well. So Haru may just be making a mistake. Actually, MT's showing himself a little bit early there. Forces Haru, or actually does get the red buff onto him, is going to dash forward. Can Haru get away? He doesn't have his flash, and so he will go down. First blood to MT.
Umti having a much better game number 2 so far here. He flashed, he knew that he could get the reset on his E with the auto attacks and managed to bring down Haru, and now he's actually going to continue on and steal his Krugs, and this is one of the most valuable camps for Graves, Raptor camp and Krugs. Obviously, Graves would always love to just eat them up.
You can see the level difference already. Level 4 for Umti, level 2 for Haru. He will hit level 3 soon, but still, it kind of highlights the fact that Haru is extremely far behind right now in the jungle.
And that was just Haru misreading basically what route Umti would take, and I feel like it's almost illogical to assume that Graves would go for a 4-camp clear before his blue buff relative to the lane dynamics, as he definitely has a lot of potential for early aggression around levels 3, 4, and 5. So a little bit of a misread was made by Haru, and it was quickly punished, and Jin Air find themselves a nice little advantage so far. We're almost approaching 5 minutes. And Umti even goes for the green smite early. He's looking to put a stranglehold onto Haru, and this is that leash that we talked about. As long as he can keep this kitty cat collared, it'll provide a lot of assistance for his teammates.
Oh man, Umti not even going all that aggressive there with the level lead. Allows Haru to pick up 3 of the Raptors, including the big one. Kube forced to back first and use his teleport.
Not so much aggression. Snowflower, though, taking quite a bit right there. Now into his roots yet again. Seem very bizarre. CoreJJ is here.
Oh boy, CoreJJ getting there first. Very big. There's an exhaust though onto CoreJJ. Forced to flash. Umti is looking for it. Crowd trying to block here. Haru is going to be able to pick up the kill. Jumps onto Snowflower too. Jumps again, and the flash forward and the auto from Crown. Ruler and Crown with Haru, able to come up with a gigantic kill there. Just barely enough to take him out.
The damage foresight coming out of Samsung was just fantastic right there. Super outplaying Jin Air Green Wings. And that's going to set them really far back, as now Umti's going to transition into parts of the map that he's not going to be able to find any success because his laners need to recall. We'll see this one more time, the replay. You can see that Jin Air trying to move down and collapse on Haru. They even had Snowflower come up. The exhaust went down earlier, but then the exhaust was down onto Umti. Kuzan missed the laser, and then Haru hanging on by a thread, able to do maximum value. And then Ruler and Crown, the synergy right there. Go flash and flash to bring down Snowflower for yet another kill. Put Samsung in the lead right now.
Yeah. Looks super pretty and definitely not easy to do. To, just get barely in range to land the Mystic shot, to land the auto attack, and to have the damage foresight, as you said, to know that that would be enough to get through Lulu's shield. Now Umti's trying again to invade the jungle, but not having as much success this time. And even with an early lead that Jin Air got for themselves, they are now behind here at 7 minutes.
And they're going to try to stabilize, but really they're just on top of wards right now. It's basically going to mean that Samsung Galaxy essentially has map hack over Umti. They're going to know exactly where he can and can't go. Haru does have level 6. They're going to have to respect that. Umti actually electing to take his golems instead of run over and give Kuzan the blue. That's actually going to put a lot of pressure on Kuzan, although it looks like Kuzan wants to recall instead. So Crown's going to continue to further extend his experience and gold lead here in mid lane.
Kuzan actually deciding against it there at the last second. Oh boy. Crown forgetting that Graves can can dash rather. Blows his shockwave, doesn't hit anything but air.
This is what we need for him to
Oh
here.
yes.
Well, it's not lollipopping. Just let it happen. Don't even commentate this, by the way. No play-by-play. Just let it happen.
Oh yeah. We got a real close look at the body of Gragas flying on up to us.
He likes it when you hit him with that hammer.
Haru here, I mean, there's no vision at all onto this Drake, and it is a clown Drake, so kind of funny, but, you know, not really all that useful.
We'll help out a little bit, though. We are at 9 minutes, so the game is still relatively early, and when you have that Rengar who still has his On the Hunt available, the movement speed will help moving between the map, especially against a jungler that's as compromised as MT's Graves right now, because of how the early game unfolded in the last few minutes.
Taking a closer look at how the Lucian is doing bottom. And it's, so far it's okay. I mean, he's only 2 CS behind the Ezreal Karma lane. And, you know, sustaining a lot of poke, surviving for now. Looks like he's heading towards a pretty fast Blade of the Rune King, picking up one of the components first, at least.
He's on trying to zone Crown, actually, from getting back into the lane. Doing whatever he can to establish some sort of control, but Haru being a little bit sneaky here. Cube as well. I think I've seen, well, actually.
Yeah, forces that throw of the hunt. Down comes the control ward. Oh, he misses both! Forcing a flash out of Kuzan to lay down the storm and get the kill, but expending a little bit more than they wanted to.
Yeah, and even though they get the kill, you have to wonder what sort of mental effect is that actually having as the game does go on. Yes, they get it, they get the monetary gain, but that can affect confidence, and so in later stages of the game, you know, you have to wonder how it's going to impact him, but Kuzan picking up that kill, he's certainly going to love it on that Victor. He went for the Hex Core, tier 2.
Yeah, definitely
closing the gap.
Definitely a nice pickup. Oh, and as you mentioned, you know, no summoners on Kuzan, taking a ton of damage. Cortege, he wants it. He's gonna flash forward, blocked by MT. Rather, almost said Uzi. Wrong region. And he does survive, even without both of his summoners.
Top lane, not the most exciting lane, but Ixu has managed to get himself quite a lead in terms of CS. Gragas is actually one of his biggest comfort picks in the game. So you can bet that he's feeling extremely comfortable up there. And the gold gap is almost non-existent right now. It's only about a 350 gold lead right now for Samsung. And interesting, Crown actually picks up a needlessly large rod. And so I'm wondering if he's thinking about just going immediately into Luden's Echo and holding the Lost Chapter. So he's not going to have the cooldown reduction, but he will pack a much bigger punch.
Just let it happen, right?
Just let it happen.
Kuve's out of mana, forces the flash. Ixu will pick up the kill. Kuve losing in that solo fight. Nice job there by Ixu. We were talking about comfort picks. Teddy just barely gets out of that one. Wild Growth even used, but he did have his dash available.
That was a really big pickup for them, though, in top lane. As you can see that Haru's not in a position to do anything, and they're getting a lot of extra turret damage that they otherwise would not have secured on the turret, and they're even bringing up MT. They want to get this turret down. He just comes up here, but Haru ends up showing up, so he doesn't quite get as much damage as he would have liked before being forced back into his jungle. Ruler and CoreJJ putting out so much damage.
Ooh. He almost hit that last Mystic shot, too. That was real close. Will, after all, force them to do Krugs, I guess. I was thinking maybe forcing them to go back, but pick up some. Kuzan coming on over. Can he actually help out? Seems like he's just relieving some pressure as MT makes his way towards mid.
Now it looks like Ruler and CoreJJ continuing to stay in bottom and try to apply as much pressure as possible. They rotate down Kuzan so not to lose the first blood turret of the game. And they had MT actually go into mid lane, but Samsung might be looking for some sort of a play. Haru took the red buff, but Crown was rotating down. Dragon coming up in 50 seconds. It's just an Ocean Drake, though.
There's a song out there about Ocean Man. Someone's got to make one about Ocean Drake. You ever hear Ocean Man?
No. What? No.
There's a song called Ocean Man. Check it out. It's pretty good. In the meantime, Snowflower almost loses his life. Very, very close. Crown just forcing him back. Pretty low on the mana, but his blue is up and available. Uh-oh, Teddy might get caught out here on the Lucian. There comes the culling. He's actually turning this around. With Ruler there, he could not commit any further. Also, the red buff on Haru may have been a little bit too dangerous for him, but at least he does survive.
I just want to point out right now how indecisive Snowflower is being. He has started and stopped his recall about 3 times. He started it in mid lane, moved a little bit further, started it, stopped again, maybe entertaining the true shot barrage from Ruler, and then he kept going down, and the indecisiveness ends up wasting a ton of time. Samsung pick up the first blood turret of the game. They might lose top tier 1 here. They're going to pick themselves up the Ocean Drake. We'll see what spawns next. But right now, yet again, just like in game number 1, their team composition has not done what it needed to. And so now as we transition from early into mid-game, they're going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage.
They're committing to that one, but not able to take it out just yet. Next Drake is another Ocean Drake. So we were having some good RNG in the first game. There was 2 Mountain Drakes and 2 Infernal Drakes, but now it's a Cloud Drake, 2 Ocean Drakes. Samsung only gets good luck when they're on the blue side.
And Crown with that blue buff, Haru here as well, and CoreJJ gonna try to get as much damage done on that turret, but Kuzan able to repel it quite quickly. And now, without any Mountain Drakes or Infernal Drakes, it is going to be a little bit more difficult for Samsung to take the Baron when that eventually does approach. And so it's going to be a waiting game. They're going to have to turtle on that Victor. Kuzan was also one of the Victor enthusiasts for a very long time, going back into last season and even solo queue as well. So he's very accustomed to knowing how to turtle and stall out games. And that's going to be what they're going to need to do if they want to recover here. So they're going to need to wait for Graves, Lucian, and Victor to get to the point where they can just delete someone from the game.
It's funny you mentioned Kuzan on the Victor because you would think that a champion like Victor would be perfect for Janair Green Wings. He's like the perfect game delayer. Super passive, wave clearer. Can do some burst damage, but a lot of his strengths lie in, you know, letting the game go late and letting him get a lot of items. We took a look at the gold difference. Oh, hold that thought. Crown actually going for the, you know, the damage on the Kuzan to force him out of lane, but MT wants to punish here. Can he get it? The concussive, rather the collateral damage just come out. MT though will survive. Wild Growth will be enough. No, it won't. CoreJJ coming on up. They do lock him down. Crown able to turn that around. with the help of his teammates.
Crown's mechanical outplay right there. Absolutely fantastic. Holding everything until exactly when he needed it. Samsung gonna pick themselves up a turret off of that in addition to the kill. I have to be feeling really good right now. If you're Samsung, Iksu tried to steal away the red, he's not gonna find it.
Yeah, it was very beautiful out of Crown. I mean, this guy is 2-0-1 right now, winning his lane so far. He wants that MVP. He wants to stay ahead of Faker. Can he actually pull it off is the question.
So here we go, we'll take a look at this one more time. Umti comes in, Chaos Storm can't quite keep up. The auto attack's coming out of Umti, and then you watch, and he actually flashes the animation of Graves' wind-up for his ultimate. Had that hit, Crown certainly would have gone down. They would have been able to protect their mid-tier 1 turret, and MT would have lived as well.
Teddy going 1v1 here against Ruler. Oh, looks like Snowflower was around too. But chunking Ruler down just a bit. And now they have vision on Kuzan here. He's standing on top of a ward. Crown is just waiting for him to make his way into mid, but he will take the safe approach. Baron comes up now in 5 seconds. Samsung slowly getting a lead in this one, not as big of a lead as they had in game number 1.
And now it's a little bit interesting that Jin should probably neglect Cuvée up in top lane, let top tier 1 turret be slain. Or, well, can't really slay a turret, but if you could.
Depends on what you're into. You know?
Yeah. Let top tier 1 actually die, just focus control, eat your jungle, wait for the upcoming dragon, and go for a team fight. Constantly sending resources to defend against the top tier 1 turret. You're not going to lose the game over that amount of gold being captured, but you could gain a better defensive position if you're Jin Air right now. And currently, you can't afford to be pick and pulled all across the map, especially not against a Rengar.
You were talking about the items of Crown. He finished the Morella Nomicon and then finished his Luden's Echo. So kind of just a wonky way to get there. But he is now at 2 main items with his finished tier 2 boots. Will be hitting quite hard, clearing waves like a boss.
Looks like both teams are just sort of grouping up right now. Jin Air Green Wings wants to defend against the second Ocean Drake. That can certainly play a part in Baron dances and stalls later on into the game. Something that you should not give away for free. Iksu able to force the flash of CoreJJ.
Iksu good patience there, not blowing his either, if he wanted to go for an engage. Still has his flash available now for the next engage. If anyone gets pretty close, Gragas has got a really nice engage to lock up 1 or more members. You can see Cuvée up in the front. Oh boy, look at the damage onto Snowflower, forcing out the wild growth. Crown though, it looks like he got a little bit too far forward, and he does go down. Now Cuvée should survive here. Let's see if they do want to go deep for him. No. Actually, Haru ends up picking up the Ocean Drake while all this is going on.
Cuvée. And Ruler now being forced to Arcane Shift away. Jin Air can certainly zone them off of this turret. They have another minion wave coming up mid. They should be able to get a decent chunk onto this. CoreJJ should not be let in. Yeah, they're going to raise mid-tier 2 for sure.
Yeah, they get out of there.
They turn the game around for now. They'll be able to back up, reestablish vision control over the left-hand side, eat up their own jungle. Let Kuzan actually complete that Lich Bane. Right now, Samsung Galaxy, now without any major objective on the map, they're just going to be forced to stalemate mid lane, focus on the left-hand side of the map, try to get that top tier 1 turret down and out of the way for now. And take another quick look at the replay. It's an unnecessary fight by Samsung, and Jin Air Greenwing quick to punish. Cube even chooses not to live. Opts to actually go back in. Not entirely sure who made that call. It's never going to turn out great.
Chooses not to live. Yeah. Kind of a funny way to put it, but definitely true in that situation. It was just a really good response by Ixu. He identified that Crown stepped one too many steps forward and punished him for it. That's really what opened up that entire fight, and 2 mid turrets and the lead for Jin Air in this game. They had a small one. Looking for another pick on the Crown. There's the True Shot barrage and a teleport from behind. Samsung looking to take this fight. Let's see who Cube can knock out. That's 3 members going out of the fight. Looking for the play on Ixu. Will get bowled up.
Without Ixu, Samsung might be looking to just actually push 2 turrets up in top here. They already have the Scuttle Crab down. They don't need to go for Baron, but they might. They have a lot of options available to them right now. We'll see which ones they take.
Looks like they're trying to get some deep vision here on the blue side jungle of Jin Air first before they would even attempt to do anything. Leaving Crown up in top to push the tier 1 with some help from Haru.
They opt to play or take the safer route. The most safe route. They clean up mid, make sure that it's still pushing in so that it's a dark wave that Jin Air Greenwings can't make any use of. Take all the vision out of Jin Air Greenwings' blue side jungle, so it's not going to be as easy to turtle leading up to the Baron. It's going to require a lot of investment into it. And they pick themselves up a turret as well before resetting. Let's take another quick look again at the replay. So On the Hunt comes down. Cube with the teleport in from behind, able to knock 3 members away, forcing the Teddy to try to retreat here. Ixu just kept getting locked up. He ended up going down.
See, the top laners have moved down into bot now. That's going to be the fun lane to watch. The rest of the team for both sides is just going to clear out vision. Samsung with the jump on that. Actually, some pings onto Baron right now. Maybe there was a ward there that Haru wanted to clear up. Looking for the damage onto Teddy, just forcing him back. Wheeler trying to get a little bit feisty here against Kuzan. He does have to use his flash to get away from the Chaos Storm. Kuzan needing a bit more damage than him, but keeps his own flash, burns the Ghost.
They did get both summoners off of Ruler, and that's going to be really big. And Haru took a ton of damage right there. Black Cleaver and Blade of the Ruin King dishing out a ton of damage right now. Interesting to see that Teddy's not actually opting into following this up with Lethality. He picks up the Zeal. If you go Lethality, your ultimate can become like a mini Misfortune ult.
Yeah. A bit mobile, a bit more mobile, I should say.
Now the game is again stalemating. Next dragon of the game, Cloud Drake. Samsung probably just want to pick it up as fast as possible. Well, actually, no. They're going to want to wait a little bit and then pick it up so that Elder spawns as the next Drake. They're going to destroy it too quick.
Unless they want to try to roll for an Infernal or Mountain Drake.
Yeah.
But it seems like some pings were going down over there. Haru is hanging around. We'll see if they do actually commit. Still 20 seconds left. Juve actually pushing in that bot wave pretty close to the turret. Not going to force it in. He's actually making his way towards mid. MT will get out of there. Everything intact. Some pings onto the dragon. Seems like they're waiting a bit though.
Oh, they're actually gonna kill it immediately. See if they actually stop the damage or pause it. Doesn't seem like they're going to. Yeah, and they're gonna kill this before Elder would be the guaranteed spawn. Can't tell if that defense ping was
Mountain Drake.
from which team, but next dragon will be Mountain, and that's actually gigantic. They just rolled the best possible dragon. When you're facing a Victor who is so good at wave clear and stalling games, the Mountain Drakes don't just help you kill the Elder Drake and the Baron, it also helps you crack Victor's defense of his inhibitor turrets. Really crucial Drake when facing off against him. So that's literally the best Drake that they could have hoped for, and they get it.
Sometimes lucky. Oh, they're looking for some damage onto these members. They know where a bunch of them are, as they were clearing out some wards. MT has to recall. Still no move towards that Baron. They're not comfortable enough to go for that yet. Maybe just looking for a pick first, playing it very slow, very safe.
Teddy gonna pick up the red buff really quickly. And Jin Air Green Wings, they're on a little bit of a clock. They don't want Samsung to be able to pick up the Mountain Drake and then immediately convert the capture into a Baron capture, as that would be a doomsday scenario for them. So they're gonna want to set up some sort of a pick as soon as they can, but the only real targets that they can pick up right now are gonna be Ruler, Core JJ, or Crown. Haru's going to be a little bit more slippery, and he does have some tankiness to him.
Cuvée is spotted on the left side, so no engage from there. See, Samsung controls the Baron area, but Jin Air was thinking about pushing a little bit into mid. Bit of poke coming out of Ruler. Cuvée just the bouncer in the front, the bodyguard. Drop barrage. Still no engage though from either team.
Lots of posturing over and over and over, but now, I mean, we just saw a glimpse of the Fog of War. Jin Air Green Wings, it is completely dark inside of that Baron. They just have that one ward, which is not a good flank ward for Ixu. If Samsung would try to go for the Baron in zone. Ruler taking a lot of damage needlessly, and I don't know why Samsung are looking for a fight. This would be the closest percentage chance for Jin Air to win.
Oh, huge cast there. Cuvée gets polymorphed as well. He will survive though. Lots blown here for Jin Air, but now Jin Air has a better route into mid lane, forcing some recalls out of Samsung. Crown on the run here with Core JJ. They've actually deflected their attention, trying to catch Core JJ, who's quite low. The teleport, though, coming out of Cuvée from behind. It's a Yuki companion, gets Kuzan and instantly blown up. What a nice pick there from Cuvée, able to knock up Ixu. Let's see if they can get any more. The ball being thrown to Cuvée. Haru jumping back in, looking for another pick. They do take out Umti, and a really nice shockwave. 2 more kills on the back end. Looking for the ace. That's going to do it. Haru taking down another kill. And there it is, heading immediately towards top lane.
They're going to convert this into potentially an inhibitor with those death timers and that size minion wave, all 5 members remaining. Regardless, they should also be able to get Baron here. Actually, they're just going to head right for it immediately. They're not valuing capturing the inhibitor turret and the inhibitor and then backing up and having a fight over Baron. They want to get the Baron off the field, because that would be Jin Air Green Wings' ticket back into the game. take a quick replay of this. You can also watch live in the bottom left. So Cube came in with the flank teleport. Kuzan not quick enough on the flash, ends up getting pinned against the wall, and from there, it was just the Haru show, jumping around inside of the jungle, throwing those bolas, slowing everyone down, eventually got the root onto knocked him against the wall, and then Crown could follow that up with a huge shockwave. And now as we're about to head back into live, Samsung Galaxy with an inhibitor exposed up in top lane, 2 lanes pushing in their favor, and they have the Baron buff. Looking like they're potentially gonna end the game in the next few minutes.
Yeah, they finally find the fight they were looking for. They get that one pick onto Kuzan, and as you said, just not fast enough on the summoners. You're gonna lose your life in LCK if you're just not fast enough. There will be faster players than you. It seemed like they weren't aware of the teleport either. Very nice play out of Samsung as a team. Cube able to execute. And just a nice team fight from there, from Samsung. And now they're reaping the benefits. Looks like able to get bolas onto Ixu. Wild Growth coming out. That is one big drunken Gragas. Meanwhile, Crown is like, he's never with his team. He's always pushing.
Interestingly enough, Crown is able to do this primarily because there is no one answer that you can send to him that he can't get away from. I mean, I suppose the only person could be Teddy, assuming that he can dodge the shockwave. Then he could potentially kill Crown, but other than that, Crown would be able to escape from everyone else relatively easily, and so he's able to split push, and that means that Cube can stay with the team and deny a pickoff attempt from a flash engage.
Samsung saying, I dare you to teleport on that ward. Not gonna happen. Bit of a rotation up to mid. Are able to tag these minions with the Baron buff. You can see not getting too much damage done to the turret just yet. They have to get Ruler close enough to begin picking that down with the help of Crown. Now they begin to do that damage. Nice Casca, they actually get Ruler. There's the Polymorph. He will go down. Actually, Teddy able to pick up that kill. Now fighting a 3v2, but they are able to stop the push and pick off that very important Ezreal.
They keep themselves in the game for now. Samsung's just gonna pick up the Mountain Drake. Although it looks like generic Green Wings, they might want to try to steal it. Might be going in. Oh wow, they're actually gonna get the Mountain Drake.
Yeah, just straight up, forcing Samsung back.
So they pick up a Mountain Drake, a little bit of a victory right there for them. And now they've reached the stage where their deletion potential on certain members of Samsung is definitely a very real threat. So even though they're down a lot in terms of gold, and in terms of the stalemates in front of turrets because of that double Ocean Drake, they still do have some outs available to them, even though Samsung are clearly still in the driver's seat.
Today on this Lucian hasn't seen too much action. There's only been 15 kills so far in about 37 minutes. And he's only seen 2 of them. Well, I suppose he died for one of them on the side of Samsung. But he was able to pick up that kill on Ruler. But really just well done by Ixu to set up that kill. He hasn't really had any big flashy plays, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Still cool to see Lucian here in LCK.
Samsung Galaxy, yeah. A little bit uncharacteristic there. Funneling in on this inhibitor, but you can see that bottom lane and mid lane not in the best of spots. Mid though, not super bad, but there to match the wave. So this is definitely on the more coin flippy spectrum.
Ruler is going in for that inhibitor. You can see all that damage that's done to it. That was all done by Hen. Shockwave completely misses. Redemption will heal everybody up on the side of Jin Air. This will force Samsung to a bit of an awkward position. Haru and Empty going at it 1v1 in mid. Haru will be pushed back, but here comes the push out of Samsung. It looks like they really want to get in onto that inhibitor. Ixu eating so much damage. The wild growth coming out there, but getting extremely low. Teddy in the back, though, does survive and lays down that culling, but this will be enough damage to push Jin Air back and take that inhibitor.
Now they're going to try to move to mid lane. They have minions. They should be able to get this turret as well. Teleport, though, coming in from Ixu. Gragas is a big boy. He's looking for a sandwich.
Kuzan, though, Ruler, can he lay down that kill? He does, but pays for it with his life and baits in Cuvée, who's going to lose that Guardian Angel, and all of a sudden, they might be able to pick up Ixu, though, on the back here. Crown, nicely done. Enough damage to take him out with the big combo. But down goes Poppy. So now 3v3.
And Jin Air Green Wings trying to push up mid lane. You see Ping's going down onto that turret, and I gotta hand it to Lucian. He does seem to shred through Poppy better than some of the other AD carries that exist right now in the meta.
Look at Haru. It's like, okay, yeah, go for the turret. I'm not going to be with my team. I'm going for your inhibitor. Let's see how Jin Air responds. Maybe they'll just trade. They're not sending anyone back. They're going for a kill, actually, onto Core JJ. More than enough damage. Crown alone, can he stop this push? Not onto the inhibitor, at least. So they're just going to trade inhibitor for inhibitor here.
Yeah, Teddy is keeping them in this game. The score is 9-11. In terms of kills, the gold deficit not really relevant anymore. We can see that most of the champions in the game have hit level 18, and they're all approaching their final items, so that almost is irrelevant. Baron coming up onto the map, but this is very, very risky for both teams. If they fail it, it can spell lights out for either one of them. Samsung a little bit more comfortable in the sense that they have the teleport available on Cuvée, though. Xu doesn't have teleport remaining. They are going to have the Scuttle Crab, so that'll last for a little while.
Oh.
Jin Air just pulling the trigger, though.
Here we go. Let's see if this Baron call works out. Cuvée, he's looking for the knockout. It's going to turn into the Poppycopter for a while, but not knocking anyone out, just zoning them. Shockwave totally misses. Nice play there from Jin Air to just surround the ball but not get close enough. Haru coming from the bottom side. MT looking to take that fight. Has Crown there. Does Haru to help him out. And it looks like a bunch of members from Jin Air are lower than the ones on Samsung.
Crown Shockwaves this game are on par with MT's ultimates at this point. They're looking like EMP Shockwaves. They're all just malfunctioning. Samsung, though, might be able to pick up the Baron. Wow.
Okay, goodbye, MT. You're not in this game anymore. Crown was very unhappy with what you said, LS. He's like, what? You comparing me to that guy? Let me show you something about this guy. He doesn't exist anymore. So they take the Baron. Really nicely done in a macro sense to just wait for the minions to push in, immediately go for the Baron. They delay enough for the minions to make that push. And now Samsung in the driver's seat once again.
And with the Baron and the open inhibitors, I mean, they even have the luxury of just immediately going over to Elder Dragon if they want to play it as safe as possible. Because without Empty up, there's going to be no way for a steal to happen unless Kuzan channels his inner Gank My Mom with the laser. And we'll just take another quick replay of this, and okay, well, I mean, that would even confuse me at that point, that amount of damage.
And now the game has just totally ran away from Jin Air. Kuzan gets picked off by a stealthy kitty. They're not even in the jungle. Ruler now going 1v1 essentially here against MT, and that should be game number 2. And Samsung will be able to take this 2-0. Let's see how many kills Ruler can pick up at the end of it. Cuvée looking to bop some heads first. And down it goes, Nexus, and that is a 2-0 victory in the series for Samsung. Yep,
and they continue on with their streak, and Haru continuing to look like one of the best junglers in LCK. A complete night and day difference from LCK 2016. And he's done a lot. Crown Started off the game fantastically, then he started channeling his inner MT with some of his ultimates, but then picked it up in the end, managed to get that kill right there. They converted into Baron. A little bit dangerous, though, the game got for Samsung. And you have to wonder why that does occur, but Jin Air Green Wings looking a little bit distraught. And, I mean, all that they have to think about at this point is their placing at the end of the season, because they're going to be facing off, most likely, against the relegation matches and such. There is some series left for them, though. I like how they did deviate from the meta. They came out with some creative picks tonight, and I think that that's actually what they need to be doing moving forward into the remainder of this split. Samsung on the other side, they're just looking fantastic with comps that they can play, champion pools, Crown continuing to look great, and Haru being a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. Happy that they took the 2-0 for their team, because they're on the same level as KT right now in terms of wins and losses, but they're behind about 4 indicator points. So getting the 2-0 instead of the 2-1 is also very important when it comes to placing. So they do take the 2-0. And speaking of MVPs, probably going to be Crown. I mean, I guess maybe, well, Haru really messed up early on. There's no one else on Samsung that could get it, I think.
Well, the highest kill participation was Crown. He almost had 100%.
Yeah.
He had 12 kill participation out of 13. We're going to be heading to the analyst desk. We'll see who gets it. I feel like it's a toss-up between Crown and Ruler. Stick around.